Welcome to Security Token Insight, brought to you by the Security Token Academy. The security token industry is here and will provide a key foundation for the evolving financial internet. The Security Token Academy provides insights about this new era for security token enthusiasts, investors, and issuers. The security token industry is here and you can get involved. Hi, I'm Amy Wan. Adam Chapnick is on vacation this week. Coming up on today's episode of Security Token Insight in your security token investing news, find out what Securitize is doing to strengthen its presence in Asia. We've got an expert interview with Scott Nissenbaum, Chief Investment Officer at Ben Franklin Technology Partners, plus a look at our new series, Global Capital Markets and Security Tokens, with David Weild, and how you can subscribe to the Security Token Edge newsletter. That and more is coming up on this episode of Security Token Insight. Now it's time for your security token investing news. Security token platform Securitize has partnered with the Japan Security Token Association to strengthen its presence in the Asian market. Securitize will work with local and international business regulators to bring security tokens to Asia. In other news, Euronext, the leading pan-European exchange in the Eurozone, has invested in tokenization platform Tokeny Solutions. This investment complements Euronext's position in the digital asset industry, combining Tokeny's token management expertise with LiquidShare's post-trade solutions. The CEO of Tokeny Solutions, Luke Falimpin, tells Security Token Academy, being selected by Euronext allows Tokeny Solutions to lean on the resources brought by the largest center of debt and funds listings in the world. We are now in a fantastic position to hire the best talent, expand on new business lines, and execute our vision of a digital capital markets world. By the way, Tokeny and Securitize are gold corporate members of the Security Token Academy. To learn more about them, go to our website, securitytokenacademy.com, click on the membership tab, and then the corporate directory. Back in April, the Security Token Academy attended Crypto Invest Summit in downtown Los Angeles. The event attracts security token and crypto enthusiasts from around the world. The Security Token Academy team was there interviewing some of the biggest names in the security token industry. That's where we met Scott Nissenbaum. Scott is the Chief Investment Officer at Ben Franklin Technology Partners in Pennsylvania. He's also an entrepreneur and investor. In this expert interview, Scott sits down with our own Adam Chapnick to discuss the company's first US-compliant security token offering. Take a look.
As a proud graduate of Franklin and Marshall College in the great state of Pennsylvania, I love what you guys are up to. But for those who don't have the same affinity, why don't you tell us, what does Ben Franklin Technology Partners do?
Sure. So Ben Franklin Technology Partners is a seed and early stage investor focused on the greater Philadelphia region. What differentiates us is we have made 50 investments last year, 67 investments the year before that, 225 companies in the portfolio, which makes us the 9th most active seed investor in the nation. All early stage, all tech, all in Philly.
Philadelphia
all the
area.
time.
That is insane. I love it and am boggled by that. Okay, so how did there come to be an investment company focused on tech in Philadelphia, of all places?
Believe it or not, the state of Pennsylvania created the Ben Franklin Network 35 years ago.
Wow.
And so about 20 years ago, we morphed from a true economic development agency, where we are focused on creating the tech ecosystem for us, specifically in Philly. And then we started operating more similar to a double bottom line VC firm. So
Wow.
The idea is we want to build a tech ecosystem, but we want to make money so that we can take the proceeds from each company and then reinvest it back into the region, growing stronger and stronger every year. Which brings us to today, where we have not only money that we invest on behalf of the state of Pennsylvania, we invest money on our own balance sheet back in, so everything's recycled and an evergreen.
Oh, wow.
And then we have co-investing partnerships with Drexel, with Temple. We do 4 different programs with Penn. We co-invest with Blue Cross and Blue Shield in Philadelphia, Key Bank. And so we're just trying to build that ecosystem with every resource we can.
Amazing. So in the bylaws, or there's an actual mandate to build?
Yes.
How do you measure building ecosystem?
Yeah, so good question. So the Department of Commerce and Economic Development in this last year gave us $3.5 million.
Okay.
We started it in 1982 with 10 million, then it went to 7, then it went to 3.5.
Oh.
But we have been building, and for every dollar they've given us, they've gotten back $4 directly related to the wage and tax revenue.
Wow.
And so essentially it's an economic engine not only for the jobs we create, but also for the state in terms of revenue generation.
So if that's the economics, you would think it would have gone the other direction from 10 up.
You would think so. And if you do it on an inflation-adjusted basis, it should be about 44 million.
Huh.
But the state, like most states, have their own issues and their own priorities. And although we continue to perform, we're starting to get closer and closer to be able to do it and stand on our own.
That is amazing. So what is the average size of a deal that you guys will enter into?
And so average investment size is about 200,000 as part of $1 million round.
Wow.
We can invest up to $1 million in any one company.
So you're super seed. You really are early stage.
Pre-revenue? We do, so Drexel University has Drexel Ventures. That is 100% powered by Ben Franklin. So when they want Drexel technology that's created at Drexel to be commercialized, it goes through the Ben Franklin process, and then Drexel can invest, Ben Franklin can invest, and then we build the company in Philly. We do the same thing for Temple University. We've probably spun out 6 to 10 companies from University of Pennsylvania alone.
Wow. I've heard that's an okay school. No Franklin and Marshall.
It is no Franklin and
Anyway,
Marshall.
yeah, please continue.
But yeah, you
Yes.
dare to dream, one day.
One
So,
day.
And so because of all of that, we went out and we raised, which is why we're at this crypto conference.
Yes.
The first U.S. regulated, U.S. domiciled venture fund that is blockchain enabled. And when I say blockchain enabled, I mean threefold. One, we can raise money from anywhere on the planet, going through an automated AML KYC process.
Yes.
On the Securitize.io platform. Thanks, Jamie.
Yes. Friend of the show.
Secondly, it allows us to use smart contracting for the back office and management. That's more of a promise of the future.
Yes.
And then lastly, and I have to be very careful how I say this, there is a more efficient secondary market for the limited partnership interests themselves. That's the token, the security token, that we create so that when you buy into the venture fund, if for whatever reason you need liquidity before the 10 or 12-year life cycle, you can go and find a more efficient second buyer, hopefully with price discovery as SEC regulations start
Dictate,
to allow, I should say.
That's correct, yes. Fascinating. So it would be correct to say that you are the first U.S. domiciled compliant security token offering.
Yes, we are fully regulatory compliant in the U.S., and we don't do anything offshore. And so if you look at Securitize.io, Spice VC, or 22X, or blockchain, they all have some component of managing U.S. regulations by going outside of the regulations. Whereas we came in and said, we really want this to be focused on Philly, but all about the U.S. We want to prove, and the innovation is that we want to prove that you can leverage the blockchain for added value, but still fully comply with rules that don't quite contemplate the blockchain yet. So we're kind of bridging that interim gap, if you will.
So how did what started as sort of like a project for good decide to get into such an innovative and not yet fully formed space as the structure of the fund itself? That's not even, are you also, well, first answer that, and then I want to hear, are you also investing in blockchain companies as some kind of mandate?
And so it came about when one of my colleagues, Sean Beshin, started talking about crypto and Bitcoin and ICOs. And we started to dig in and look at, why don't we have an ICO? And then we said, well, that won't jive with our legal framework, especially in the US. And then we said, well, but is there an opportunity to leverage blockchain? What would that look like? We worked for about 18 months. We worked closely with KPMG, Pepper Hamilton, Morgan Lewis, White & Williams, all these different service providers to say, is it legal? Will it work? Can we do it? And 18 months out of the other end, we said, let's run with it.
Amazing.
And I would be I'd be amiss if I didn't highlight EPOM Systems, which is the largest outsourced software engineering firm in the world, 28,000 employees, $8 billion in market cap, traded on the New York Stock Exchange, is our anchor investor.
Whoa.
And so they committed $5 million. They've been a phenomenal partner. They're helping us with international reach, and it brings gravitas to the overall enterprise. We put $5 million of our own money in. We have Fulton Bank in for a couple $1 million, a couple family offices. So we've got some real momentum in terms of tier one caliber investors in the US, sort of setting the stage so that investors abroad can look at that and say, All right, they're real, they're doing deals, they got a huge portfolio.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a fit.
So what has been the, I guess, the result of yours and your partners' influence in the tech region? You know, what was it before and what is it now? Is it?
Yeah. So I'm born and raised in Philadelphia, and
Right.
I think if you go back, 25 years, Philly was always that ignored city. And I think we really have blossomed as a tech community. I mean, the fact that there's 255 active tech companies in a city like that, I think it's eye-opening for people like, oh, I didn't even know.
No.
We have a number of VCs from across the nation that basically partner with Ben Franklin to say, hey, listen, we're gonna come to Philly, and we know you're providing us access to all of these companies. You're doing the hard work. You're rolling up your
Right.
sleeve. But when you mature those companies to a certain point, we'd love to follow on. The Go Philly Fund is the partner to that. And so every time one of those companies bubbles to the top and we feel really good about, they're through the technology, they're into execution, there's a lot of upside here, Go Philly can pile onto the winners. And that is the investment thesis, which is you make
great
more money in
plan, yeah.
VC. If you pile onto your winners, Ben Franklin can't because of the resource constraints, the Go Philly Fund can.
Isn't that fantastic? So as far as the mandate or the thesis of the fund itself, is there some component that includes blockchain, or is it just sort of is that not
Yeah.
part of the
Because
mission?
we're always early stage, because we're always technology, and because we're always in the Philadelphia region, we don't purely focus on a technology sector. It would be too
Yeah,
minimizing.
right.
We have dedicated investment teams to information technology, digital health, life sciences, and advanced manufacturing. We do have a number of blockchain companies.
You
So
do?
Alpha Point, which
Oh, yeah.
your viewers may know,
Yeah.
great group. Igor and his team there, are crushing it.
Yeah.
We're in a company called Amino Payments, which has been stealth for a while. Serial entrepreneurs, they're crushing it.
Great.
And we're always actively looking for sort of the next big thing.
We have the full interview with Scott on our website, securitytokenacademy.com. Click on the Interviews tab and then click STA Video Interviews. Now live on Security Token Academy's website, a new expert video series, Global Capital Markets and Security Tokens, with David Weild. Part 1 covers the state of the market. David is the founder of Weild & Company and is the former vice chairman of Nasdaq. He's also a 30-year veteran of Wall Street. In this new series, we cover the growing intersection of security tokens and traditional finance, as well as the benefits of tokenization. Here's your preview.
What do you, in your mind, what are the applications of security tokens? How do they fit in with today's finance world?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think we're going to be able to strip out costs from the issuance of securities and the trading of securities in general. And when you do that, you also enable certain kinds of securities that heretofore have probably been cost prohibitive. And what I mean by that is, I think the frequency of distributions can be increased very significantly. Why is that important? It's important because retail in particular values higher frequency distributions. So if you look at a traditional bond, it may pay twice a year. If you look at a closed-end bond fund, there are two forms, ones that pay quarterly distributions versus monthly. The monthly ones that trade on the New York Stock Exchange and Nasdaq actually trade at about a 4 or 5% premium to those that pay on a quarterly basis. So I suspect that what we're going to see is the tokenization of certain kinds of assets in a way that they will pay weekly distributions, maybe even daily distributions at some point.
That's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that curve is shaped when you go from quarterly to monthly to weekly to daily in terms of the premium you were describing. What do you think about that?
Well, if you're a retiree, you're gonna live week to week. You're managing your budget that way. So having something actually hit your account, a distribution hit your account on a weekly basis, is something that I think that retirees would really value. So I think it will happen. I think it's just a question of time, and I think that it will be highly valued by at least some subset of the market.
Yeah, no doubt. So why is this a preferred method as opposed to issuance of traditional securities? What benefits did the security token have over a traditional security?
Well, you can hold it directly in a cyber wallet if you so choose, as opposed to through a security, traditional security account, which would be held by a broker dealer. But I think that the real advantage is that there are a number of, in certain markets, there's an application layer that is wedded to the token. And so, for example, you can automate all of the legal and compliance checks that are done in private markets to be able to trade securities in private markets, stripping out a lot of the cost and some of the constipation from having tokens or securities, if you will, move from the hands of one investor to another. So there's a big uptick in ease and efficiency for certain kinds of applications, and so my suspicion is that that's where we're going to see most of the early adoption.
What are some of the real-world uses where security tokens offer an advantage over traditional securities?
Well, if I was to apply it to asset classes, if you drive down the cost of tokenizing or securitizing an asset, for instance, we might be able to, we've already actually seen the beginning of this, tokenize a particular building. And it would then allow, instead of somebody having to buy a basket of buildings through a real estate investment trust, you might be able to actually say, okay, here's an interest directly in the Empire State Building or in a tower, the Sears Tower. So you can then, the old cliche, which is, location, location, location. It will actually allow investors then to put together portfolios that are very much location-based type of real estate. So, for example, whether it's warehouse facilities or multifamily office or multifamily residential or office properties. And so as a consequence, I think it will create greater overall efficiency of capital allocation to the real estate market. So I think it's the beginning or the dawn of a brave new world in certain types of asset classes, as opposed to forcing you to buy a big basket of properties where you don't have control over the actual building selection within a portfolio.
Got it. Now, when it comes to issuers, what do you generally recommend? That an issuer issue a security token or start with a traditional security and maybe tokenize later?
Be sure to check out this new video series on our website, securitytokenacademy.com. Did you know that you can get the latest industry updates in our free weekly newsletter, the Security Token Edge? The newsletter is packed full of insightful information about the security token industry. To subscribe and get your free weekly copy, go to our website, securitytokenacademy.com. We also invite you to check out the digital wrapper on Medium. It's our new behind-the-scenes series with the teams building out the security token industry. These are in-depth interviews covering a wide variety of topics. You can view these when you follow us on Medium. You can find out more information on our website, securitytokenacademy.com. The Security Token Academy held its first ever meetup in London in partnership with FinCross International. The sold-out event took place inside the 12 Hay Hill Club. Our top-notch panel included Daniel Cohere, co-founder and CSO of Tokeny, Henry James, Deputy CEO of FinCross International, Graham Rodford, CEO of Archax, and Breege Tinley, Head of Europe for Securitize. The meetup was sponsored by Merrill Lynch, Clifford Chance, and FinCross International. All three companies are corporate members of the Security Token Academy. To learn more about them, go to our website, securitytokenacademy.com, click on the membership tab, and then the corporate directory. In a first-of-its-kind multi-city webinar on the tokenization of commercial real estate, CREST, a project of the Security Token Academy, provided a detailed case study on the tokenization of the St. Regis Aspen Resort. Learn how the webinar explored the disruptive forces that are emerging in commercial real estate, or CRE financing. Here's your preview.
Disruption in commercial real estate has been appearing in lots of different ways. Certainly in the office category of commercial real estate, also known as CRE, the appearance of co-working companies such as WeWork is a major new trend. Also, The appearance of technology companies that strive to improve property operating efficiency through prop tech or property technology is another area of CRE disruption. But there's a new type of disruption emerging in the area of CRE financing. It's a way to raise money via a new solution which is compliant with US SEC regulations. It's called tokenization, and it is based on security tokens. This wave is barely just beginning, but examples are starting to emerge, and that's why we're here today as we cover the tokenization of the St. Regis Aspen Resort.
I wanted to help our viewers take a closer look at this iconic hotel. So while I was there, I had the opportunity to meet with the hotel's general manager, Heather Steinhardt. Let's take a look at what she had to say. This is a gorgeous property. Can you tell me a bit about it?
I'd love to. We have 179 guest rooms, 30 suites. This is one of our 3 specialty suites. And then we also have 25 residences, 2 and 3 bedrooms, which our fractional ownership has.
Fantastic. What else should we know about this property?
Well, the rooms and our public spaces were designed by Lauren Rote. And she was wanting to make sure that we're bringing the outside light into the hotel, that it was like a mountainside manor, that it was contemporary yet very, very comfortable, because after you go skiing, you just want to chill
Relax,
and relax.
yeah.
And so I think she really did a lovely job in portraying those goals overall.
Regarding this specific property, you had the listing at JLL and sold it to Stefan in Elevated Returns. What's the backstory on that?
Yeah, in 2010 we had the property on the market, and we had reached out to a number of offshore investors and had gotten in touch with Optasia. We had been in touch with them on previous transactions before, and we sold the asset to Optasia and Stefan in 2010.
And the $19 million of tokens that were raised, what were those funds used for?
Well, I mean, that was a return of capital to the owner. So effectively, the tokenization is a true sale of ownership into the property. So the current owner decided that the maximum they were willing to give away at that valuation was 18.9%. So that's what we put for sale, and we were happy enough to fill up the entire stack. So the way that it works is that you actually sell the property into an operating partnership. You create REIT shares interest out of the partnership, and you capitalize the REIT through the sale of smart contract. Smart contract is effectively a digital share certificate. So rather than to have the old-fashioned paper share certificate, you have a digital form of it. It's a beautiful instrument because all the securities regulation are actually embedded into the contract itself. And it's cheaper, it's faster to transact, and it offers also the ability to have a global product trading on multiple exchanges.
We got involved with Elevated Returns, first helping Stefan in trying to liquefy in a different format, in a registered format, a traditional listed REIT format, the St. Regis Aspen, and then helped him transition his project to a tokenized solution. Prior to helping Stefan, we've also been very active in the whole idea of creating liquidity around non-traditional liquidity solutions around single asset real estate. And so it was a natural for us to help Elevated Returns and Stefan with their project.
Everything is going to get tokenized.
Yes.
Your identity will be tokenized, your title will be tokenized, your mortgage will be tokenized, your equity will be tokenized. I mean, that is the future when everything is running on this integrated, efficient, immutable blockchain system.
To watch the full webinar, just go to crest.io to register. Registration is free. I want to remind our viewers that if you have any questions about security tokens, be sure to email us and we could answer them right here on a future episode of Security Token Insight. The address is insight@securitytokenacademy.com. Be sure to include your name with your question. One more time, the address is insight@securitytokenacademy.com. All right, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, and Medium. And do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube page so you don't miss out on any of our videos and expert interviews. I'm Amy Wan. And before we go, a big thank you to our Platinum Corporate member, Merrill Lynch, and all of our Gold Corporate members as well. We invite you to learn more about our corporate members by clicking on the Membership tab and then click Corporate Member Directory. For everyone here at the Security Token Academy, thanks so much for watching.
You want to learn more about security tokens from the top leaders in the industry? Be sure to visit our website, securitytokenacademy.com, and click on the Interviews tab so you can stay connected.